details about what happened, but Ant,
Yeah.
what you think, OG?
Man, what is there not to say, bro? It's a damn shame, bro. That you went down like this. And I ain't gonna lie to you. I just recently got into Vine. I think my boy Adam I be doing my drinking thing with. He put me on about like a month ago. So I'm like, all right. Then I start looking at all the videos. I'm like, yo, these little motherfuckers like really wild and wild. like,
Mhm.
like they shoot the videos. I'm like, yo, these motherfuckers real live out here getting it in video. Why nobody going to jail right now after this shit released? But they were doing that thing. He was getting out of it at damn what's that? The gun gang, the gang.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He was deep in the game's life, whatnot, and transpired to his music. I ain't gonna lie, he had some good music, had some good shit that thump and all, but man, young folks, y'all gotta start. We all gotta like wake up, bro. And funny thing about it, I hate when motherfucker call me school when I'm out there go try to play some basketball or some shit or playing football, but hell, we are actually becoming the old heads right now, man. And when you get a chance to talk to a young dude, a youngster, whatnot, man, yeah, we got to try to see what we can do to stop these dudes from destroying themselves for reckless shit. I understand this bigger than them, bigger than us, bigger than quite a bit, but nothing's bigger than God, man. So try to teach them youngins, man, like put God in their life for some kind of form of religion in them, something to believe in other than shooting and killing each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But my heart is out to the families, to the other victims or whatnot, and all the people affected and involved in the whole movement of on black crime. We just got finished talking about how black people coming up and not getting looked at or getting treated funny or have to fight racism and all this goofy shit behind the office. Man, when we at home, we got to stop doing this shit to ourselves when we at home or in our neighborhoods. We got to cut. It ain't worth it. Shit ain't worth it. Ain't no life is too precious just to throw it away off a fuck of a color or a funky few ass dollars. You know what I'm saying? Straight talk down. I ain't gonna lie. If somebody tell me they're gonna steal $1 million, oh, I want to hurt somebody, but at the end of the day, everybody's still breathing, and there's other avenues to solve that issue other than straight violence. You know what I'm saying
Yeah.
that's what I got on that with King Von, man. Lord rest his soul.
What you got, Ray?
Yeah, man. It's definitely you know what I mean, it's being, living in Chicago before, for a good amount of time and, kind of getting involved in the whole Chicago drill culture and all that kind of stuff, you know, I, I had been listening to him for quite a while. And one thing about it, I can say that, he was trying to move in the right direction. You know what I mean? As far as, kind of getting life back on track and, what I mean, quitting all the, you know, the BS that came with that culture or whatnot. And like the thing said, what I mean, he was a loving father and he took care of his kids and was involved in his community and things like that. And, that's kind of what, you know, for a person of his age and that done the things that he did and be involved with his family the way he is, I mean, it's a lot of other people out here that's not that involved with their kids, with their family, and even with their community. So he was definitely, making moves and strides in the right direction or whatnot. But what I think And what I think, kind of caught up with him was those things that has happened in the past, and just the persona that he kind of lived under. You know, there was almost a thing I think DJ Academics was talking about where, every time King Von mentioned somebody, they ended up dead on
Yeah.
Twitter or whatever, you know what I mean? So he kind of had this larger than life type persona, you know what I mean? And not a lot of times people that got those type of personas, they end up getting tested by somebody, or they end up getting checked by somebody or whatever, you know what I mean? And although he wasn't shot at home, you know what I mean, he wasn't killed at home. He was killed in the city of Atlanta. Well, we know, you know, it's definitely people out there that are
Got some shit to
definitely
say.
definitely got some shit to say, and that check your temperature on stuff or whatever. And I watched the video, the surveillance video of it. I watched it twice. Kind of hard to make out, at least the one that I watched. So when what actually happened, I think I know which person he was in the video and all that kind of stuff. But it's really just unfortunate. And this goes to show that, the energy that you keep around, or the energy that you portray, like that kind of stuff catches up with you eventually. Karma is a motherfucker. So if you're out there doing bad, robbing, killing, stealing, doing all kind of shit like that or whatever, it's gonna come back one way or the other. And man, and it might come back to you, or it might come back to somebody that you love. You know what I mean? And all that gang banging, all that kind of bullshit or whatever, like niggas, motherfuckers that gang bang now ain't even gang banging for the right reasons. That the shit was even started in the first place. You know what I mean?
Facts.
People be set tripping off colors and blocks and all that kind of shit when that wasn't even the reason why the shit was started in the first place. It was started to protect the community, not to be tripping off of colors and blocks and all that other kind of bullshit or whatever. You know what I mean? So, you know, it just kind of, like Aaron said, man, like, love conquers all. You gotta believe in, some type of, higher authority, whether or not, whatever it is that you believe in, you gotta believe in a higher purpose or something like that. And you gotta, keep whoever you consider God, I mean, you gotta keep them in the front, and keep them front foremost in the things that you do. And that stuff just always come back. What you do in the light, I mean, what you do in the dark always comes to light. It always seems to manifest itself in some type of way. So, and you give what you get, what you put out. So, it's and thoughts and prayer go out to the other people that died, or the other people that were injured and shot in the whole incident, not just King Von or whatnot. I don't want to show no disrespect to those other people that were involved in it or whatnot too. So, I just, that this one here kind of hit a little different, because a lot of people in Chicago that's in that whole drill scene, and it's big gangsters and all that kind of stuff, they usually die in Chicago. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Just like, I want to say, what was his name? FG.
FBG
F,
Duck.
yeah, FG Duck died in Chicago. You know what I mean? But he wasn't even in Chicago. He was somewhere else. So things that you do in the dark, they always come to light, and they always seem to come back on you. So just got to be mindful of the stuff that you do, and just make sure you bring in the right energy. But definitely, I think that he was gone too soon. He definitely was a good storyteller in his rhymes and in his raps and things like that. Um, we just gotta try to stop this systematic and this generational thing of killing each other. It got to come to an end at some point in time. I don't know what it's gonna take to make us understand and for everybody to come together and realize what's happening. But you know, I don't know.
I got a question for you, Roy, if you don't mind, just for a second. Also, with this situation, like you said, I forgot about the part that he died in Atlanta and whatnot. Now, with that being said, on top of saying, hey, everybody, got to respect each other, love each other. You think the rules of when you go into somewhere different, respect the culture that you are into, plays a factor into that?
Yep.
I understand that he's King Von and they'll say he big in Chicago. He may not be big anywhere else. Well, not that many people, you know what I'm saying? I've barely heard of him until, unfortunately, like I say, a month and a half before he ended up come to a demise, though. But I remember growing up, I've been traveling before we had this wonderful job of ours. So I go to Louisiana. I'm respectful in Louisiana because I know people out there a little router. I've been out to fucking Atlanta before it became type of Atlanta is now. Like Atlanta. I got that. I learned to respect people over there. Same with New York. And I have seen things go different. I have some people, a lot of them Yankee guys, you know what I'm saying, come on down south and think everything all cute and sweet. You think on the area, hey, yo, shorty, your way through all this shit. Nah, it gets people ain't slow down in the south. So that may have been granted, I ain't gonna not using that as being no reason to take another life. However, though, there is something to be said about that part too, I would say. Show up somewhere new.
Gotta respect the code.
Because yeah, respect people, you know.
Yeah,
I think some of it is now. Go ahead, Roy.
I was gonna say that I think I think because of who he is and what he's been in Chicago, I just don't see him. I just don't see him kind of as I just don't see him lacking like that anywhere. I think that in this situation, I think that somebody probably, you know, realized who he was and maybe had some type of ties to something or whatever and saw opportunity
To
you
tighten
know
them up.
to do something or to be somebody or whatever. And I think that that may have took advantage of that situation. But just being from the hood and all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean, like you don't back down from situations. You don't show no weakness, you know what I mean. And
I'm
you
not
know
saying back down by any means, but
yeah
I'm saying don't come down that jaw
You
jacket.
know what, man? I'll say this much. I think Ant hit the nail on the head. We are entering into that era where we are becoming the elder statesmen. We are becoming the OGs. You know what I mean? And whether
most
you
definitely.
whether you a dude that's from the streets and then got your head together, or you a dude that, you know what I'm saying, avoided that street shit and got your life together and avoided jail and other street confrontation, and you managed to make it as far as we made it, we have to step up and assume that OG role properly, because I think what happened, and I think this happened with us, there's a lot of people from our generation when we were young and we had musical stars that was coming out, those underground folks that was getting caught up in street shit. And then we had homies that was getting caught up in street shit, classmates that we knew that had got caught up in street shit. And I don't ever really recall too many people, just pulling me to the side and coaching me, with just little conversations that I done had, and I know for sure that a lot of the youngsters that we done seen fall from our peer group, our age group, probably didn't have a whole lot of that neither. But thinking about what Ant said, we have now grown into that position to where we are the elder statesmen, we're the OGs. And we have to take the time and let these little dudes know, hey man, this shit ain't cool. Roy, you brought up an example of FBG Duck, man. Like when he got murdered, and I'm not familiar with these guys' music. I ain't gonna tell you no lie. I never listened to King Von. If I had, I wouldn't even be able to tell you. I'm pretty sure he coming with it, but I just hadn't. He wasn't on my radar. But the same with FBG Duck, he wasn't on my radar neither. I just so happened to see that big time Chicago rapper that just got a deal gets murdered in Chicago in broad daylight. So the first thing I do, I go check his music out, man. And so what I found on YouTube, pretty much the last song that he recorded was a song called Dead Bitches. And when you listen to the song, the title is self-explanatory. The dude is rapping about dead gang members that's his enemy. Like his enemies, dead homies. Like the dude is dissing these dudes after they dead. And it says a lot about what you were saying, Roy. Like you can't bring that type of energy on yourself and expect to be able to move around. And I don't care where you at. I don't if you in fucking you leave Chicago and you talking about motherfuckers from Chicago. Don't think you coming down to Atlanta, or you going to Texas or California or whatever, and think it's all sweet, because these youngsters, they move around these days. These youngsters, they travel. And it's not just moving around and traveling. The gang shit, like you said, Roy, goes further than the people do. Because you got GDs in Atlanta. You got Bloods in Atlanta. You got Crips in Atlanta. You got Folk Nation in Atlanta. You got Vice Lords and Latin Kings in Atlanta. All the shit that you got coming out of California and Illinois, you got that everywhere in the country. And if you putting that type of energy out in your music, they don't necessarily have to be the exact people or the exact gang. You can have some folks that's loosely affiliated with GD or whatever, a Black Disciple, whatever these kids is from, you know what I'm saying? And they talking crazy on their records. And a young dude in Atlanta, like you say, Roy, every time, and these vloggers and bloggers, they exacerbate it, man. They keep talking about it and hyping up the beef. So these kids down here that don't have nothing to do with whatever beef going on back in Chicago, just because the kid, every time he diss somebody, they die in Chicago and they from the rival gang, that gang done made it all the way down here. And there's some folks that's native from Atlanta, that's a part of that gang. Like you said, I'm gonna check this dude temperature. I want to test this dude gangster. And bring it back, we as the elder statesmen, OGs, have to sit down and say, this shit is not cool. This music, the music sound good and shit, you know, but the shit whack as hell, man. You talking about smoking on a dead dude as a pack? You talking about rolling up on the ops and murdering these people? Like, it's all good when somebody's talking about you was a great father, you was a great husband, you was a great family man, you was making the transition. But when I go listen to your last record, I don't hear or see none of that shit. I see the same ignorant nigga that was in the projects. So we as elder statesmen, we gotta call this shit out. We gotta tell these kids that this shit is whack. If you rapping about dissing and murdering and all that shit, and you got millions, you out the hood, you still doing that shit, it's whack. Your music is trash. It's garbage. It's poo cheese, as they used to say back in the Gap. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
go ahead. I didn't even cut you off.
No. I was just gonna wrap it up by saying, man, I'm doing my part right here, right now, as an elder statesman OG that like that music, that like that culture, and I'm telling them, I can rock with you, but once you get that deal and you get out the hood, you still making that kind of music, I don't rock with you no more. Your music is trash at that point to me. Your whole get down is trash at that point to me. It's time to go and level up, man. It's time to try to figure out how to piece it up with the rival gangs. And that's just my two piece on it.
Hey.
Man, I'm good with it. Would you say that, bro? In the last 3 minutes of
it. Man, I just I don't know, bro. I think that's one of the reasons why I love coaching Little League football, man. I love coaching Little League football. And I think the reason why I love coaching Little League football is because of the impact that you have on those kids directly. I can't tell you the amounts of times that, a teacher has called me from, school saying that, so and so was doing this and that or whatever, and let me know because I was that much of an influence on that child and on that child's parent, where they felt, and a lot of the kids was missing, fathers or whatnot, you know what I mean, in the home or whatnot. So, with me being that influential person as that coach, that football coach, like a lot of them was for us playing football and playing sports and stuff or whatnot, you know, that's a person that you kind of looked up to, you know what I mean? So, that's really one of the reasons why I like doing that, and because of the impact that I had on the community, the impact that I had on that child directly, the involvement that I had, that able to navigate and steer that that young mind to making the right decision and doing the things that they needed to do the right way. You know what I mean? And I think that it's definitely unfortunate or whatnot, and that that energy that you bring, like that stuff is real. You know what I mean? The energy and the things the company that you keep and all that kind of stuff, like all that kind of stuff just comes back on you. And as much as I realize how much older we're getting or whatnot, but we are getting into that OG status of you know doing our part as people that have been through different situations and kind of dealt with different things and all that kind of stuff, and being able to let other the younger generation know how to navigate different situations. And it's just gonna take a lot more of that, to and it's just gonna take a lot more of that, man. That's really all I can say. It's messed up.
To
You
these
know,
young men and shout out to their families and everybody
yeah,
involved. Uh, but we got to do better, man. And y'all hearing it right here from Debate from the Great State. We do not endorse that shit. That shit is not cool. You kids, y'all ruin it. And let's say you do get away in a gunfight, man, you'll end up like some of these kids is rapping and shit and on their way to making some real money and making some real change, and you still got one foot in the street and one foot, you know what I'm saying, wherever you trying to get out. And Johnny Law come get you. Next thing you know, you doing 30 years. So
yeah.
none of this shit is cool. None of this shit is cool at all. So from debate from the great state to you, the three OGs, y'all need to chill.
And you know what?
Not the violence.
I think that's why I told you about that post on that page.
Mm.
Getting to right where we are right now. Like that message that he had, that's relevant right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is.
I think that's why that went to my mind and I had you look at that, bro.
Because the minute motherfucker twist any damn thing you say against you, hard body, and
Mm-hmm.
bringing out that energy, it's gonna be easy for the world to believe that energy, go by the energy. You know?
Mm-hmm.
It's real easy to say, oh, they're gonna hide the good shit. You know what I'm saying? Highlight the great shit, hide the bad shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's a different. That's a different topic for another day. But go ahead with it, Chris. Roll on with it.
We gotta keep this train moving. We had another topic, but I think we gotta keep the time rolling. So, do y'all want to get into Dababy, or y'all want to just jump into ignorant shit and then slap bangers?
Let's hop in the ignorant shit.
All right, so we can do.
Actually, you know what? I tell you a lot back. I would say this. Uh, we could do a little bit about the baby. I say we could do a little quick synopsis on it.
Quick
If y'all
synopsis.
agree with that?
Roy, this was yours. You want to cue it up?
Yeah, so the baby's older brother committed suicide. Um, and it's a real messed up situation. Um, real messed up situation. Anytime somebody takes their own life, I've had people in my life take their own lives, and it's definitely a messed up situation. You really are left with no type of answers or no type of closure with it because of how it happens or whatnot. So prayers and condolences and thoughts and all types of sympathies and condolences go out to the baby's family and all that. And that just goes to show you that no matter how much money that you might have, or your somebody in your family might have, and all that kind of stuff, somebody's always struggling. You got to go make sure that you in tune with what's going on and you checking on them. So go ahead, Chris.